Good evening. So the little adventure that began with Foodie Beauty's heroic cat rescue has now developed into a situation where she could face the legal consequences for the multiple times she broke Kuwaiti law. That tea has made it tempting for bigger YouTube channels to cover the situation. One of those channels is Legal Mindset. Yesterday or a few days ago, Legal Mindset held a stream to go over the basics of Foodie Beauty's legal uh, situation, and because of the subject matter, there were many members of Girl World in legal mindsets chat, and some of those people are actually kind of maybe jokingly, maybe not jokingly, mad at legal mindset because we have been studying the behavior of Foodie Beauty for several years, so how dare legal mindset not get every detail right in this maximum, perhaps 3-day research. Anyway, during the live stream, some Girl World members were just simply excitedly yelling "Scatgate," and some were going into more detail, expressing the uh, uh, giving the warning that legal mindset should or Mr. Mind should brace himself for when he learns about Scatgate, and one of the ladies that I believe has been in contact with Mr. Mind for a fiasco held a stream right after legal mind Mr. Mind finished his stream, and during that stream, Farah Fiasco also expressed the mm, desire and necessity to introduce Mr. Mind to the Scatgate, but expressed concern as to where to even begin or how to even begin to tell the story of Scatgate. So, in order to cover the basis, I have prepared a 13-second long audio clip that should could actually very effectively cover the gist of Scatgate. So I present to you Exhibit A.
Well, I feel like I'm talking to a real dog, a real slave, a pure dog. I'm gonna shit on you and rape you and spit on your face.
There is a reason I played you the full 13-second clip rather than only the second sentence. And, first of all, the reason I say it is a full clip is because it was a voice message sent over the phone, and it was, the entire 13 seconds. And a lot of and as can be derived from the name Scatgate, a lot of people in Girl World have taken a liking to saying that the man whose voice can be heard on voice clip has a scat fetish, and those willing to go darker say that in addition to scat fetish, he also has a rape fetish. I believe he has neither of those things, and he instead has a humiliation fetish, if it can be even called a fetish. That is because, as can be heard from the first sentence where he wants to treat women like a dog. Well, a specific woman in that context, but we believe it to mean Western women in general. And the reason I disagree with those two popular fetishes is that when we, with our Western minds, hear about a person wanting to urinate a poo and pee on another person, we think, oh, scat fetish. And when we hear about rape fantasies, we recognize rape uh, fetish or consent, non-consent, if you prefer it that way. But I believe that, as can be heard from the first sentence, he just wants to degrade women of lesser faith, even though it is pretty clear that he actually is not a practicing Muslim. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that there is something else that could be confused with a fetish of some kind. In his other messages, Salah mentions that the lady Kaibella should be like shit beneath his shoes, and perhaps aided by the picture of his feet that he sent Kaibella. Many people think that since he already has a scat fetish, that line about shoes combined with the picture of feet, that he also might have some kind of a foot fetish. Actually, he spent two separate pictures of his feet. I believe that these things also fit the desire to humiliate and degrade, because although we as a Western society don't use those kinds of expression, it's it's a very common way to humiliate someone or to signal that they are not worthy, to say that they are like dirt beneath our feet or shit beneath our shoe. Now, quickly, as a person who's rather new into girl world, I mean, I came in 2.5 years ago when Foodie Beauty was already in Kuwait. I can attempt to give you a quick overview of the Kuwaiti art. A little before my time, on 5th of August 2022, Chantal asked her roommate on a live stream whether he thinks that a hijab would cover her face fat, and also whether she should only wear a hijab if she's Islamic. And I'm using the word Islamic because she used the word Islamic. Then on 16th of August 2022, she held a live stream titled Who Wants a Citizenship? Then on 5th of October 2022, she held a live stream where she apparently introduced us to the man we now know as Salah. And from the clues we could gather that she only talked with this man for 2 days, and apparently in those 2 days this guy convinced her to go to Kuwait and almost convinced her to marry him, which eventually Foodie Beauty did, or so they claim. Although she pretty quickly posted a picture on her YouTube community page of their ring fingers, saying that they are married, she only posted a video of their courthouse marriage on 6th of January 2023. Obviously, posting a video doesn't mean that it wasn't recorded at an earlier date. it doesn't really matter because all we saw on the video was them showing a tall building, them going up on an elevator, them being in a waiting room where the doors, well, they did have some official looking signs, and the next thing they showed is them outside holding hands and somebody saying Mabruk, Mabruk, which I'm guessing means congratulations. And it should be noted that Salah was dressed in pretty casual clothing and uh, holding a piece of paper that might as well have been an official document, but he was holding them rolled up so the paper could not. Uh, so the paper gave the impression that even if it is an official document, it must not be of high value. I believe that they have been in 3 apartments in Kuwait, and the move from first to second and second to third was pretty quick. And I believe they got their third apartment somewhere in summer 2023. The apartments are important because they added to the chain of legal vagueness that is Foodie Beauty's marriage. Whenever somebody accuses Chantal of not really being married, Chantal resorts into saying that, hey, William, in this apartment is only for couples. You can't live in this apartment if you are not married. When we moved in, we had to show our marriage certificate to the building manager, which means that we are married. Although, in the other hand, tells she also proudly told us that they got married because of wasta, which for legal purposes is more or less equal to bribe. But ignoring that last part, the logic of Foodie Beauty's legal vagueness is akin to me showing you this $3 bill and saying that there's no way that this $3 bill is not a legitimate dollar bill because it is illegal to counterfeit money, and I I don't do illegal stuff, so that means that should this bill must be legit. Either way, should you also want to rapidly go over the previous history of Foodie Beauty, I have prepared Exhibit B. Take it away, mate.
Oh, Christina, I started watching during the Kuwait arc. I'm super new. Oh, okay. Oh boy. Okay. Ooh, am I gonna do this? Pulpy explains plots badly. Yeah, maybe. So once upon a time, there was a Canadian named Chantal. She decided to try her hand at being a makeup and beauty influencer, and that didn't kind of work out. But this was during the time where mukbangs were getting really popular, particularly eating larger and larger portions of fried carbohydrates, which are canonically Chantal's favorite food. So anyway, Chantal got kind of lucky there and picked up an audience while basically eating herself to an early demise on camera. Cut to a few years later, and she creates a just camp little cheese graveyard platter because Halloween's one of her favorite holidays. Turns out BuzzFeed was having a really slow day and picked up the news story of Chantal eating a cheese graveyard while talking about the Heaven's Gate cult. So that kind of painted her in a not great light. Continue forward to Chantal basically crying about her health concerns, never taking any accountability in that regard, basically throwing her mental health under the bus and never really doing anything about it. Chantal goes through a myriad of health crises and concerns over the 6 years she's on YouTube, including a full hysterectomy and a lot of other stuff. Breaks up with her long-term partner. Long-term partner breaks up with her. His name is BB. He's lovely. So he's out of the picture. Chantal moves out of there into the luxury villa where she's then living with Pete's, who is her best friend from high school, who she shared nude photos of when they were teenagers and called him Pete's because her favorite food was pizza. His name isn't Pete or anything, it's James. So they live together for a few years. Chantal loses her damn mind, gets addicted to cocaine, starts seeing an abusive crackhead, chases him for 2 years all across Canada. All of this while live streaming, gets gonorrhea, gets that cleared up, but that's fine because she caught it from a public toilet. Definitely not the cheating crackhead. Then has a tryst with the crackhead and his new girlfriend, who he's moving in with. Also goes to the police to get a restraining order or a no contact order on the crackhead. But then also walks it back multiple times in the live stream. And what's the direct quote? "I wish I could drop the charges but still sleep with him." Meanwhile, all of this is happening and she's coming online every 2 days crying about how abusive he is. And there's a thing about paper clips and red flags. And then she goes to Cuba, where she decides to get drunk and say some of the most heinous, vile shit you've ever heard on the internet. And then blames it all on the alcohol and then goes back to the luxury villa and then does the same thing after the Uvalde tragedy. And basically tells every American in her chat that Pumped Up Kicks is America's national anthem, and then tries to force herself on Pete's while drunk, and then Pete's admits later that it was probably SA, and then Chantal gets mad because everyone's calling her terrible, and then she finds a mystery man on international Tinder who she talks to for 3 weeks, and then decides she wants to marry him, so packs up everything in Canada, flies to Kuwait, meets him for the first time, gets married, and she's been bouncing in and out of Kuwait every 3 months because she's on a tourist visa, doesn't want any of us to know, and this is the second trip back to Thailand. What did I miss, Christina? Do you have any questions? That's the long and short of it. I mean, there's also 3 weeks. Yeah, exactly, 3 weeks. There's also the fact that she was neglectful towards her 2 cats back in the luxury villa. They're in better places now. She slept with a homeless man on a rock who smelled like malt vinegar. She took cocaine to a graduation for her and her bestie to get high on and drove under the influence. Chantal, not the bestie. The bestie also became an ex-bestie because the bestie came into a chat one time to tell the chat about how abusive the crackhead was, even though everybody knew it, but that just kind of solidified the whole thing. And then the bestie became a bestie of one of the reactors in the community. And Christina, do we need... Where are you at? Christina, do you need a note? Oh dear. Anyway, if I have one talent, it's poorly telling the story of Chantal Marie.
Well now, thank you for watching me and Pulpy. Meeting adjourned. Please exit the courthouse in an orderly fashion. Peace.
Feel free, Panda.